Hello Dr. Wu, this is Pranav Ranganathan here, and in this video I will be presenting the final project which I did for EEL 6509 Wireless Communications. So let me start off by giving you a basic idea of what I did. In my project, I did a study of the bit error rate for BPSK using OFDM for normal and relay multipath channels. The bit error rate is a very important factor in communication systems. It gives the amount of bits that are incorrect at the receiving end. For example, consider the transmitted sequence 001, 0, 11, 00 and the received sequence 111, 0, 1111. So as you can see, the total number of bits that are incorrect for the sequence at the receiving end is 4. So the bit error rate is 50% for this case. So half of the bits that are received are incorrect. Now, moving forward to OFDM. OFDM stands for orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, and as the name suggests, it is a type of FDM in which the carriers are orthogonal to each other. The subcarriers are also chosen in such a way that they are orthogonal to each other, resulting in the elimination of interference between the subchannels. This results in a simplified design of the transmitter and the receiver without the need for separate filters. Now, let me show you a block diagram of the transmitter and receiver for an OFDM or type of modulation. So, when you see the transmitter, the input data is modulated using one of the schemes like QPSK or BPSK or any other scheme that is available. So for this project, I have chosen BPSK as the modulation scheme. Then it goes inverse. Then it goes into the inverse Fourier transformer, and then it is passed to the D to A converter, and then the final OFDM signal is obtained. At the receiving end, the same OFDM signal is passed to an A to D converter, which gives it to a Fourier transform. Then it is demodulated using the same technique as used in the transmitting end. Now moving forward to BPSK. BPSK stands for binary phase shift keying. In phase shift keying, modulation is performed by changing the phase of the base signal. In BPSK, there are two symbols which are separated by 180 degrees. So this is the best form of phase shift keying available, as it takes the maximum level of noise at the demodulator at the receiving end to get an incorrect decision. Now let me show you a constellation diagram of the BPSK. As you can see, the two symbols are marked by the two black dots and they are separated by an angle of 180 degrees. So what this means is -1 represents 0 and +1 represents 1 for a transmitted sequence. Now if you see a transmitter for a BPSK system, the input signal is modulating a carrier signal, and then it is transmitted over the channel. At the channel, it receives some noise, and then it arrives at the receiving end. Now in the receiver, as you can see, it is demodulated by first passing it to an oscillator, which mixes it with the same frequency of the carrier that we use for it to modulate at the transmitting end. Then it is integrated over a time interval, and then it is passed through a threshold detector, which compares the input value with a given threshold and gives the output 1 if the input is more than the threshold value, and gives an output 0 if the input is less than the threshold value. Now fading. Fading is a very important factor which plays a major role in all communication systems. So fading majorly happens in the channel due to environmental effects, noise, interference, or any other effect which might cause the signal to fade. So relay fading gives a good approximation of the fading for systems that do not employ line of sight communication. It says that the signal will fade according to relay distribution, which is given by the equation shown in the presentation. Now let me show you the evaluation results for this project. This code has been written for a normal channel, and let me go through it. So over here we are generating random sequence of zeros and ones, then it undergoes BPSK modulation, then the inverse Fourier transform is taken before it is transmitted, then cyclic prefix is added to the signal, and at the end it is concatenated to form a long vector. Now over the channel a certain amount of noise will be added to signal, and to account for that we add white Gaussian noise with zero mean. At the receiving end the cyclic prefix is removed and the signal is passed through a Fourier transform, and it is demodulated using BPSK again, since we used it in the transmitting end also. Now after that the total number of errors are counted, and these two equations represent the error due to the simulations and the error that has been calculated theoretically, and then they have been plotted. So let me run it for you. So it is taking a little time because the size of the code is pretty big and there are a lot of equations involved. Now the simulation is happening, and as you can see the curve of the theoretical and the simulated value almost is equal. Now we can also notice one more fact, that as the bit to noise power increases, the bit error rate comes down. So this is an important factor which makes it very imperative that we keep the bit to noise ratio as high as possible for transmission. Now moving forward to a relay channel, as you can see, again we are generating a random sequence of zeros and one, which is modulated using BPSK. Then we are taking the inverse Fourier transform, adding the cyclic prefix, then it's a 10-tap multipath channel, so we are specifying it over here. Then we are adding it to the rally noise over here due to the channel. Now after this it is concatenated to form a long vector, white noise is added, and at the receiving end we are remove the cyclic prefix, take the Fourier transform, then demodulate it, and we count the errors due to the simulation as well as theoretical calculations. After that we plot it. So let me run it for you. This may take some time because the length of the code is pretty big, and also the for loop is running for a long time, and at the end calculation also takes a long time for the MATLAB calculation. So let us wait for a while while the code runs. So this is the OFDM specifications over here for the rally channel, and as you can see, after the simulation, the theoretical value is in agreement with the calculated value, and for this case also, as the bit to noise ratio increases, the bit error rate comes down for the same factors as mentioned for the normal channel. So it is imperative for this also that we keep the bit to noise ratio as high as possible. So let me move forward with the PPT. Sorry. Now, these are the evaluation results that we got from MATLAB for the normal and the 10-tab rally channel. Now, to conclude this project, it was observed that the theoretical values are in agreement with the practical values for both the case of the normal and the multipath channel. It was also observed that the bit to noise ratio, as it increases, the bit error rate comes down. So it is imperative that we keep the bit to noise ratio as high as possible. Thank you, Dr. Wu, for listening to this video, and have a good day.